I think we're going live right now. Let me double check. It's funny because whenever I use StreamYard, it's always a little confusing for people. It's not showing up on my channel, so I don't know. It looks like Dorito Chip Gamer's in here, so we have someone in here potentially.
Okay.
But no, guys, anyone and everyone, thank you guys for joining. We had a little bit of a mishap. I had to change up the link. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it looks like we're working. Some people it might take a little while for people to file in. I'm gonna send out the link. There we go. Okay, cool. Hey, Elliot, how's it going, man?
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Pretty good.
How's
We
it
are
going?
live on the channel. I was trying to, I was telling Alex and a few people that are watching, I was trying to snip the two streams together into one big long one. StreamYard did not allow me to do that. So this is a different link and everything like that. So I'm going to shoot this out to people. But
Cool.
no, excited for you guys to be here, all that stuff.
Yeah. Definitely.
No, just, taking
How's it
time out of
going,
your
man?
days.
How are you?
Good, man. How you doing, Alex? Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, have you guys
Yeah, you
ever worked on anything
Yeah.
together?
No.
No,
First
but
time.
I discovered his channel on Facebook maybe like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, damn, like this is a good video. So
I appreciate it. Man.
so yeah, no problem.
Okay, so anyone and everyone that's watching, if you guys have questions, you can start throwing them into the chat, and I will bring them up. Let me just tweet this thing out, and then we can get going.
Perfect.
All right. There we go. First thing I want to do is just kind of introductions. Some people that are on, fans of JBuck Studios and everything like that, they might not know who you guys are. Alex, we can start with you and then just work around when more people are dropping in. It looks like we have Hannah here. Hey, Hannah, how's it going?
Hi, I'm good.
Hey, what's up, Hannah?
How you doing, Hannah?
So Hannah, I don't know if you caught what I was saying. Just gonna go around and do introductions. We're gonna start with Alex, then we can just work around while I think Griffin's still trying to get in here.
All right.
So Alex,
How
you
is
have the
everyone
floor.
today?
Tired. Alrighty. Yeah. So what's going on, guys? I'm Alex, also over at YouTube. You can check out my channel, Alex Madden. Also at the Cinemania World podcast. I love movies, love them my whole life. So I mean, that's basically all you gotta know. So
So yeah, good person to have on the stream, obviously. Hannah, what about you?
Hi, I'm Hannah.
Hello.
Also part of Cinemania. Yeah, I love movies. I'm bad at introductions.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with my hands. Bad at talking about myself.
All right. And then Elliot from Movie Files, how's it going, man?
Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Yeah, my name is Elliot from Movie Files. I am on YouTube. Any and everything about movies in regards to reviews. I watch a lot of movies on streaming platforms. I talk about a lot of shows. I mean, a lot of different shows. So, yeah, I love talking movies and shows on the channel, and I'm glad to be here with you guys today.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All of you guys and gals, thank you so much for joining. Again, this is for a great cause and everything.
Definitely.
We have gotten, I don't know, I lost count. I think we have about $300 so far, so that is just
Awesome.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And this is just starting. This is going to run for a while, and then some of you guys are going to join me later and whatnot, but very excited. Elliot, I want to get, you kind of discounted yourself a little bit. You do a lot of shows.
Oh.
Like, you don't do almost not even movies anymore. You're just like TV.
Yeah, man. It's, I mean, obviously I love films. We don't have our cinematic experiences anymore, but I've always been a fan of TV, man. And it's just now with more times in my hand, I'm able to review a little bit more than usual. But yeah, I always try to do something different, man. I'm definitely this year has kind of opened my eyes, and just, I've been watching shows that are like based in Paris, Indian shows, Spanish shows. So it's so much great content out there. And that's what I'm trying to bring out to the audience, just showing, bringing out the independent indie stuff. So yeah, I try to watch as much stuff as possible, man. And it's fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say Netflix is having a lot of that right now, where I've noticed there's a lot more I don't know, again, just foreign language stuff that I've been checking out. All right, so we have a few questions in here. I don't know if anyone sent questions on Twitter. I'll have to check that. But I don't know. Dorito Chip has to say, thoughts on Ridley Scott's third Alien prequel. You guys have any thoughts about that?
I might be one of I would say this is a hot take for me. I'm actually a fan of Prometheus and Alien Covenant. Like I see what he was trying to do. Obviously, the diehard fans, which I am a diehard fan of the first Alien and Aliens, but I'm a big Ridley Scott fan, and I love the aesthetic of what he was trying to go for and the story. And yeah, I read this earlier that I guess the third, it was Aliens Awakening, which was supposed to explain, kind of lead into the first Alien movie, which is going to explain the ship and how it got there and all that. So who knows if we'll ever get that, because obviously that film was kind of canned once the Fox and Disney merger took place. But I would have liked to have seen it, and hopefully we'll get it one day. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember checking out Prometheus, and then like Alien Covenant just didn't land with me the way I wanted to. Okay, we got Griffin. Hey, Griff, how's it going, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Not too bad. You want to just give a quick introduction for people who might not know who you are and everything?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Griffin Chiller. I run the Film Speak channel over on YouTube, yeah, I'm here to take some questions and talk movies and support a great cause.
Yeah, no, thank you, man. I appreciate it for coming in. Is Owen still going to be able to come or not?
No, I don't think so. He ran into a snag, so he's not going to be able.
Okay, no worries. But yeah, we're getting right into questions, guys. So, Griff, do you have any thoughts on Ridley Scott's third Alien prequel?
I'd want to see it personally. My biggest issue with Covenant was that it was half an Alien prequel and half a Prometheus sequel, and I was way more into it when it was trying to be a Prometheus sequel, because I actually like Prometheus. I thought it was an interesting kind of like exploration of the alien lore. And so if they made a third one and then kept it kind of on the trajectory of like the Prometheus storyline, that to me is interesting. And plus those movies are just gorgeous to look at. So I'm down for it.
All right. Anyone else have any thoughts on that?
I agree with you guys that I love Prometheus. I'm not really big on Covenant, and I'm not a huge fan of like the Alien movies in general. I like them and I've watched them all, but I'm not like, I don't actively like seek out to like rewatch them or think about them often. But Prometheus I've watched quite a bit, and I really, really like that movie. So yeah, I'd be into it.
Well, for Prometheus, and again, it sounds like you guys might know more than I do, but don't they set up pretty hard the story of like the creators and everything? But they don't dive too far into it.
Yeah, the engineers.
Yeah, the engineers. There we go.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I can't hear you on my end.
You can't hear me? Alex, give me a thumbs up if you can hear us.
Alex is dead.
Alex died.
That's really what it's just come down to.
Yeah, I can't hear Jared on my end. So.
Hold on a sec.
You might have to leave and then come back. I've been on like live streams before and not been able to like hear somebody, and then once I come back.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Okay.
I don't know, whatever. All right. Fanjecture has to say, Elliot, what's your favorite and least favorite Nolan film? I guess this can go to everyone.
Yeah, what's going on, Fanjecture? He has a great YouTube channel. Does a lot of movie debates and has a lot of great content on there. But yeah, favorite and least favorite Nolan. So my favorite Nolan is Interstellar. It's like a masterpiece in my eyes and one of my favorite films this last decade. And I was listening to the soundtrack the other day. I just love everything about that film. And it actually kind of grew on me as the years kind of went by. But that's my favorite Nolan film. Least favorite, that's a tough one because a lot of his films are pretty high standard. So it wouldn't be a matter of the film was bad. It's one I probably don't revisit a lot, which is probably The Prestige. Even though it's a really good movie, I don't find myself rewatching it a lot. But yeah, Interstellar, bar none, is my favorite Nolan film.
I don't know. I really like The Prestige. I mean, everyone has their flavor and whatnot. Okay, he did Memento, right?
Yeah, he did Memento. Yep.
I think that one just got ruined for me. I mean, I like it and everything that he did in it, but I think it's because someone spoiled it for me. So maybe that's why that one has that ill taste in my mouth.
For sure.
Probably. Yeah.
Anyone else? Nolan films?
Interstellar is my favorite too.
Nice.
So, yeah. I would go either. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I would go either Inception or Insomnia. I think Insomnia is really underrated. I watched that for the first time like at the beginning of all this like craziness, and I was just mesmerized by it. Like just the scene transitions, the acting in it, the plot, the like Robin Williams as a villain for like the first time in his career was amazing. Like I was just blown away by Insomnia. So
yeah, no, I agree. Insomnia is super underrated. I mean, Al Pacino is amazing. Robin Williams is great. Yeah, Robin Williams is really good in that film. If you want to see another movie where Robin Williams plays just like a really just like gross, disturbing villain type character, go watch 1 Hour Photo.
Ooh.
1 Hour Photo.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
God, the movie is just fucking like. It's just
creepy. Yeah.
Really creepy movie.
It doesn't make you feel good.
Not at all.
No,
not at
not
all.
Not at all. No.
I was
yeah,
just
no,
gonna say, yeah. For a 1 hour photo, it's just so weird that we get like a comedic genius that is able to do that.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is like a lot of comedians like they're able to tap into like a darkness inside of them for a lot of their comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Jim Carrey, look at Ben Stiller in some roles, and then obviously like Robin Williams is like kind of notorious for this. So it's like because they have kind of like that darkness inside of them, they're able to go places with other roles and like, you know, give these amazing performances, which I think is part of why I like seeing comedic actors do roles like this. But as it pertains to Nolan, I think I agree with like kind of everyone. I don't think there's like a bad Nolan movie. My least favorite, probably just by default, is like his first movie, Following, and I think that's just because it's really effective and it's great, but it's like he's just done better stuff since then. You know, that was his first foray into like, you know, narrative feature films, and so you know, every movie he's done since has been great. In terms of my favorite, I think my favorite is either Inception or Dunkirk.
Solid picks.
Dunkirk's a close second for me for my favorite. I don't want to pick a least favorite because I love everything I've seen from him. I haven't seen Following, so yeah. I maybe by default Batman Begins because I don't rewatch Batman Begins a whole lot. So yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm glad that you brought up that Following film because I've seen it in passing. I've just never gone out of my way to like check it out. Like, does it have that Nolan, you can see where things have come from, or is it completely just like, hey, this is absolutely okay? Yeah.
I mean, it's just like you see the makings of like greatness in him, like just in that film, and it's just like it's super simple, super effective. It's done in black and white, but it feels like a Christopher Nolan movie. And so it's just like from going from that to something like Memento, it's just that's already like a massive leap, and like he's just continued to take massive leaps since then. So
yeah.
All right, next up we have quick easy question: Critters or Gremlins?
Oh, Gremlins.
Gremlins, definitely Gremlins.
Gremlins.
Yeah, I'd probably say Gremlins too. I mean, Critters, I remember like a friend rented it like when we were very young from the library, and it scared the bejesus out of me. But then again, Gremlins did the same thing because I saw it way before I probably should have. Just creepy. I don't like creepy, weird creatures. Let's see here. Seth Ott has to say from the SoCo show, what's your favorite movie that came out before you were born?
Oh.
It's a good question.
I'll go first. I'll go with it's actually my favorite movie of all time too, Lethal Weapon. Perfect buddy cop movie. I love picking up on something new every time I watch it. I've had people tell me that like it's really boring, but I'm like, it's really not. Like it's an investigative cop story. Like, yeah, the second half has all the action that you want in it. It's just what's their name? I almost said Martin Riggs. That's not the actor's name. Mel Gibson and Danny Glover are just perfect. They got perfect chemistry. Like the fact that like Riggs like has such like a huge character growth in that movie is just completely mind blowing to me. So it's got to be Lethal Weapon.
I'll go with just going off of just the last conversation we had about horror films and all that stuff. John Carpenter's 1978 Halloween is my favorite horror film of all time. I'm a big horror fan, so that came to my mind is 78 Halloween, The Shape.
I'm curious, when's the first time you saw that film?
First time I saw it was probably, so I'm a 90s kid and I grew up in the slasher era, so Scream
Yeah.
and all that. So right after I kind of got into Scream and all that, I kind of went back. So I had to probably be at least like 9 or 10 when I first saw Halloween. And it's just like, obviously a lot of us seen a lot of films and we were probably not supposed to at a younger age. But yeah, I was probably like 9 or 10 when I first saw Halloween.
Good. Hannah, what about you?
I was gonna say Scream. Scream came to my mind. I love Scream. I've been watching it like way before I even like was supposed to be watching horror movies, and I used to watch it to like scare myself purposely, so I'd like have an excuse to like stay up later. Yeah, I love Scream. So.
Yeah, Scream's great. All of them are good. Even the third one, which gets a little too much crap, I think is good.
Yeah.
They're all super clever in their own right. But I think for me, the one that I go back, and I'm a big like Hitchcock fan, so like all of those movies, some of the like Sean Connery Bond films for sure. But I would say Vertigo is probably my favorite before I was born. You want to talk about like picking up on stuff on repeat viewings. That movie, watching it in a modern context, like completely changes how you see that film. And I think part of what makes it so great is like I'm pretty sure Hitchcock was like getting at how like like Jimmy Stewart is not the he's not the protagonist in the film. He's just the person that we're following, and it's like on repeat viewings you kind of pick up on just like how disgusting and like villainous the guy is. So I think that's just one of the things that's just interesting about that movie is it's just like you watch it the first time and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. But then you keep watching and you're like, oh, wait, no. It's actually supposed to be like this, and he's the bad guy, and we're supposed to feel bad for Kim Novak, and so like, and yeah, it's just brilliant. I love it.
I haven't seen Vertigo, and I haven't seen any Scream movies ever.
What?
I know.
What is wrong with you?
Aren't you like? Isn't your channel
that?
built on the '90s? What's going on, man?
I don't. I
You
think
and
it's
the Dewey character with the mustache, man. That's why I thought it was by the mustache.
well, I think the only reason I know, I feel like I could figure out what Scream is beat by beat just because I've watched Scary Movie so many times. Again, it's not the exact same, but
it's worth it.
Are you like purposely like avoiding it though, or have you just like not watched it?
I think it's a thing. Like the first time I was ever exposed to it was I remember like a friend had a sister that was like 4 grades above, and they were watching it, and it was just like they're watching Scary Movie, like stay away. So every time I saw the ghost mask and that cover of the DVD or VHS at the time, I was just like, no, like stay away. I haven't gone back to it. I mean, I know isn't one of them like super? Aren't they all like super self-aware?
Yeah.
Definitely.
They intentionally play with like the horror movie tropes.
Yeah, but isn't one of them like they're like making a reality show? Is that the third one?
The fourth one, I believe.
Fourth one.
It's kinda,
Making
fun of reboots and remakes.
I haven't seen I haven't seen the fourth one yet. I've only seen the first 3. So
yeah,
I'll have to check that out. For mine, I'm trying to think. Last night I was on a live stream with Fanjecture, and we were talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, and I think Total Recall, like that one for some reason is just sticking out in my mind. Maybe not my favorite if I dove into stuff, but it's just so it has like action, thriller, mystery, suspense, adventure.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's a fun one. Let's see here. Has there ever been a movie that left you speechless with the disturbing visuals, aesthetic visuals, and or amazing story that has forever etched in your mind?
I just tweeted about Nocturnal Animals yesterday. I've been thinking about that movie a lot. I've watched it twice, and I watched it like twice 2 years ago, 2 years ago, and I still can remember like everything about it. I see like just whenever I think about it, there's one image in particular that just stays with like you can watch Nocturnal Animals once and it'll stay with you forever, and there's like a lot of things in that movie that will stay etched in your mind no matter how long it's been since you've seen it. Yeah, Nocturnal Animals is one for me, like one of those movies for me.
Nice. So good.
Yeah, it's so good.
They left you speechless with
I mean, for myself, like ones that just kind of came out. I mean, I wouldn't say like Speechless, but like the ending of Annihilation is pretty bonkers. If anyone has seen that, it's very, very, very sci-fi.
Yeah.
I have yet to see Hereditary, but Midsummer
Oh my god.
is a movie. I'm not a big horror person, but Midsummer is just makes me feel gross. Just thinking about it. I watched it once and I am done. I don't want to watch it again. It just, I know people love it, but I'm just like, ugh, it's an icky movie.
So do you not like
do
it
love
then?
it.
I know it's a really well-made film, but I'm just never gonna watch it again. Like I even said in my review, I was like, I hated this movie, but I know it's a good
It's a
movie.
good movie.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was reading an article earlier today. Ari Aster was interviewed, and he was talking about his next film is going to be a 4-hour comedy. So I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. But I guess to answer this question, I guess the only thing that kind of comes to mind in regards to Speechless, and just I was watching it last night, was probably Infinity War. Just a generic answer there, just the ending of Infinity War. Disturbing visuals. I'll go with Hereditary. You brought up you haven't seen Hereditary, Jared. It's definitely one of those few, and I'm a horror fanatic. It's one of the few horror films in the last decade that actually got under my skin and go into disturbing visuals without spoiling anything. But there's a scene that takes place in an attic, and there's a string involved and a lot of blood involved. And I'll just leave it at that. And then visuals. I was talking about Interstellar earlier. That is like a theatrical experience I'll never forget because I just felt like I was in space. I was on this journey with Christopher Nolan and you know Matthew McConaughey and everyone. I just visually studying for that. And then amazing story. I can't think of I'm trying to think of a movie which the story just kind of. I just recently watched Loose for the first time. I didn't get a chance to see it at the theater last year, but I was really impressed by Loose and the story that was told there. And Calvin Harrison Jr. is just like
he's amazing.
Star on a rise. So
he's
that's something that we've recently watched. And Manos, I don't know if you guys saw Manos. It was a Spanish film that came out last year.
So
that was an amazing
good.
story. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Those things that kind of come to mind.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought up Manos. Not enough people have seen that. That's like a breathtakingly gorgeous movie to watch. I think for me, the most recent one that kind of really ticks all the boxes for that one would be Waves last year. Waves fucking wrecked me, and I think it was just like an incredibly visually powerful movie. So that one for sure. But then I mean, going off on the Nolan thing, most Nolan movies give me literally all of that. Like watching Dunkirk, I get all of that. Watching The Dark Knight, I get all of that. Inception, Interstellar, even The Dark Knight Rises. For whatever reason, people seem to just hate that movie now. It makes no sense. But yeah, I mean, Nolan is just one of those filmmakers who he delivers on the spectacle, and he takes your breath away. Another one that I got to see for a re-release, 70mm IMAX re-release, was 2001: A Space Odyssey. Ooh. And seeing that in IMAX in a theater for the first time, and it being my first time seeing that movie, I mean, I was floored. It's one of the most incredible theatrical experiences I've ever sat through. So yeah, those are probably ones that come to mind. Yeah, Hereditary, definitely one if you're looking for disturbing images. Midsommar, absolutely. That is, I love the final shots of that movie. It's so good.
I'd say all of Denis Villeneuve's films, Prisoners in particular. Polytechnique, Incendies. Oh my God, so good. And that basically all of his films check those boxes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, a movie that's left me speechless just with everything since I was a little kid. Two of them, E.T. and Jurassic Park. I mean, Jurassic Park, obviously I was a little kid and everybody's fascinated by dinosaurs. Apparently everybody still is because those movies are still making money somehow. It's just the fact too that the dinosaurs aren't even CGI, they're animatronic. I feel like that made Jurassic Park a lot more scary, but still engrossed me into how great of a film Jurassic Park is. And then E.T., it's just, you have E.T., he's just adorable. He's an adorable little alien creature. You want him to go home. That's all.
Two things. Seth in the chat says he also saw 2001 in 70mm at the Music Box in Chicago. Said it was very incredible as well. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. But talking about E.T., obviously the scene where he's just a corpse in the river and stuff. That's very uneasy. Yeah. But there's a comedian that I think showed their kid. Maybe this was a story, but they cut the movie right there and ran the credits.
That's so funny.
It's that would ruin your life.
Yeah.
Oh, Gross.
I love it.
Here's another one. I mean, kind of similar to the last one, but most disturbing movie experience. I mean, I wouldn't say Speechless, but yeah, I would say Midsummer for myself.
Mm-hmm.
You guys ever
Same.
see Green Inferno? Eli Roth's movie?
Yeah.
Bits and pieces of it. I didn't watch all the way through. I'm not a big Eli Roth fan.
I
no,
can't see Eli
I'm with
Roth.
you too. It's so weird because he seems like such a pleasant person,
Right?
and, like nice in real life. And then you
Yeah,
watch his
yeah,
movies
yeah.
and you're like, oh no, something's not right there.
Something's
It's very not
tormenting
okay.
this guy.
I love him in
Yeah.
Inglourious Bastards, but
Yeah.
Green Inferno was just. I mean, I wanted to leave the movie multiple times. I don't know why I didn't, because it's just. I mean, cannibal movies, like, just
Yeah.
kind of, they're just
Okay.
gross,
Yeah.
man. There's just
Any-
nothing
yeah.
Raw.
pleasant about it.
Ooh.
any of those
Yeah.
movies that are just like gross like that, I'm definitely not watching that. Like I heard the platform on Netflix is kind of like that. I'm like, nope, not for me.
Yeah.
That one's pretty. There's some intense imagery and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
Really
yeah.
good movie, though, yeah.
Another one that's jumping to me is Human Centipede.
I was gonna say, yeah, that was. Yep.
Sure.
No.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, Human Centipede, and I don't know if you guys saw the Terrifier. That movie is bananas, like literally in the
I thought
worst
it
way
was
possible.
funny.
It was funny, but
I
we
couldn't
were
take
talking
any
about
of
how
it
someone
seriously.
gets dark. Like I don't know who comes, and you talk about visual scenes. The scene with the girl being hung by
Yeah.
the manner she was. That movie
Yeah.
to me was just like to another level of just like disturbing.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have. This wouldn't be like the most disturbing movie experience, but it's like surprisingly really effective. I don't know if you guys have watched the House of Wax, Paris Hilton House of Wax remake
Yeah.
recently.
Oh yeah.
But,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I haven't
So
seen
like,
it.
there's a lot of that movie
They
that's like
just
super
scared the
dated.
shit out of
Yeah.
me.
It's silly. Yeah, but there's like parts of it that are like.
I think is it the opening where it's like kind of like just like a blank screen and you hear stuff going on?
Yeah.
It's been
Yeah.
so long
Yeah, I
since
remember
saw it.
watching that like when I was younger and like just and thinking it was the scariest thing I've ever.
Well, it's what's his name? The guy from Supernatural, Jared Padel. What? How the hell do you say his
Padalecki.
last name?
Yeah, and it's-
Padalecki, yeah. Dude gets
Yeah.
killed in the most brutal way possible. Like, it's just not okay what happens to him. And then, like, he gets his effing Achilles heel snipped. Like, that is so
Oh,
not
that's,
okay.
yeah, that stuff gets
It's
to me.
bad.
Yeah.
Oh,
Have you guys
yeah.
seen a movie called Vile? I remember
No.
it's on
I've heard of it.
Netflix.
Yeah.
And I watched that and Would You Rather on Netflix, and those are both really fucked. There's some nasty stuff in that. I was gonna say, as of recent, A Cure for Wellness. That one fucked me up. I was like
Oh,
really disturbed,
yeah.
and like
Yeah.
I thought about it for weeks after watching it. It still makes
Yeah.
me feel a little sick thinking about like the ending. Yeah,
Ugh.
that one
The-
fucked me up.
The ending is so messed up. It's
I
so
know.
messed up.
I love it
It's
so
sad.
much.
Yeah.
It's
It's great. Yeah.
I feel like I got to check that one out. For some reason, that one it feels like it's
not
in the
for
same
everyone.
world as Shutter Island.
Yeah.
Is it like a horror or is it more like supernatural, like
No.
creepy?
It's not even that. I
Ugh.
can't even really explain.
Yeah,
It's like an
you just have to
asylum
watch
film.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
just
Yeah. It's that, but also it's like kind of like a mystery. It's also kind of like a thriller. Like I don't. It's weird.
It's a whole bunch of things.
Yeah, it
I
kind
love
of-
it,
it kind
though.
no, same. I
It's
never
beautiful,
understood
too.
the hate for that film. I never like
Yeah, I
got
know.
why the
I never
critics
did
didn't
either.
like it.
I remember
Yeah.
I watched it for the first time and I was like, what are critics like talking about? Like I was blown away by it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
I think
understand it.
I can understand maybe like the length complaint and like maybe
Right.
it kind of like meanders a little bit sometimes, but like I
Yeah,
still think
yeah.
it brings it like all the way around and nice little ribbon on top. I love
no,
it.
for
Yeah.
sure. I think the thing that I like about it is it feels very like old fashioned while being contemporary. Like it's like
Yeah.
the kind of movie that I don't know if it came out when Vincent Price was still big. Like I could see him doing something like that. And so it's like it's got a little bit of the classic horror flavor, but then like it's also like very modern and contemporary. And so I don't know. Gore Verbinski is just such an underrated filmmaker. He's one of the masters, and he needs to do more.
Yeah, he is.
Interesting. All right, next up, Fanjecture. This is a quick one. Everyone except Jared, choose one. Terminator 2 or Total Recall.
Oh,
Totally
T2.
cool.
Terminator.
Oh,
T2.
T2 for me. Yeah, that's my
T2.
favorite like action sci-fi
T2.
film. Yeah.
Wow, sweeping the board, T2. Last night, again, I was on his channel for like a debate thing. I kind of gave a little love to Total Recall. Maybe it's just because I grew up with it. I don't know. Let's see
I think
what
it's
else.
more entertaining.
What's that? T2 is?
I think no, Total Recall.
Oh yeah. That
I watched that one more than Terminator 2.
I think that's why too. Is just like there's so many. I don't know. I like the adventure. I like sci-fi. I like all that stuff about it. Let's see here. Most overrated movie of all time. Also, Sean Chandler, thank you so much for the donation, buddy. Appreciate it. Most overrated movie of all time.
Maybe not of all time, but of like recent. For me, La La Land. I'm not a huge fan of La La Land.
I love La La Land.
Broke my heart.
I just tweeted the other day that I remember like watching La La Land in the theater and like walking out like bawling my eyes out, and then I like sat in my car to like go home, and I thought about it for a second, and I was like, I just feel like kind of like like watching it, I was like, I felt so like moved, and then like thinking about it afterward, I was like, sure, like got it.
Break
For me, I wouldn't say maybe the most overrated of all time, but one that comes to mind for me is No Country for Old Men. I'm very mixed. I'm very mixed on that. I'm very mixed on that movie. I saw it when I was a naive little boy, and I thought that like action had to like dominate movies. I was 13 when it came out, so like when I first watched it, I was just like, I am absolutely bored to death. Like something happened. I've come to have a little bit more of an appreciation for it, but I still don't see like all the praise that it
Like
gets.
you didn't like the like tension of the gas station scene or anything like that?
Right, yeah. Like I was expecting more like people shooting with guns and all that, because like that's what I was like always watching when I was like up until I was a teenager, and then like when I finally became like sophomore in high school, I was like, oh yeah, more to film than just big gigantic action scenes. So I think I was just too young when I saw it, and I just never really gained an appreciation for it after, even though I've seen it a few times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've seen it since then. I've seen it probably once or twice, and it goes up every time I watch it, but I still don't think it's like amazing like people say it is.
Elliot, what about you?
I guess kind of Hannah brought it up in regards to La La Land. I guess I'll go with Moonlight. You know, I appreciate the filmmaking aspect of Moonlight, and I actually like if Bill Street can talk a little bit better. I just think it's a better story. But I think Moonlight, I have to revisit it. But I just thought, I was like, best picture, and I understood again the message and everything there. But I just thought it was like, it's just overhyped in my opinion. Maybe not of all time, but that's just one that came to mind when Hannah brought up La La Land. I thought that La La Land should have won it that year. But yeah.
I don't know. I again, overrated is very. Again, it's subjective. That's how film is and everything. God, I can't think of it. I'm trying to think of recent stuff. Just stuff that like I've reviewed. You know what? Here's one. It's maybe not a big one, but Widows.
Yes.
I'm
I
right there with you.
I agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Hannah's
that
mad
for the
because
first
she
time,
tweeted about it earlier or something. Didn't you?
I watched that for
showing
the
my
first.
sister some movies. I'm showing it to her tonight.
I don't know. I guess
there with you,
I think it
Jared.
was the marketing. The marketing
Yeah.
put this image or thought into my mind, and I went into the film and got something completely different.
I think
Yeah.
that's how most people feel about it, though. I don't think that it's like universally like loved, like the rest of Steve McQueen's movies are, though. I know like quite a few people who are like, Widows is like his like weakest film, and they're like, I didn't really like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Quick shout out before Griff, we get to you. Colin Williams, thank you so much for the super chat. Thanks for spreading love and awareness, guys. Yeah, no, thank you so much for watching and the donation and questions, all that stuff. Griff, what do you got?
I don't know. It's so hard to like. Similar to what you guys were saying, like most overrated movie of all time. I don't know if I can say of all time. Maybe the past like couple of years. I know I'm probably in the minority on this, but I think Blade Runner 2049 is incredibly overrated.
Oh, man. That
It's
hurt, Griff.
gorgeous,
That hurt, man.
beautiful story. It's just like really long-winded, and I think that the original Blade Runner has more to say and is like more effective than 2049. 2049 is super effective, and it's got astonishing visuals. Like obviously Roger Deakins won the Oscar for a reason, but like I don't know, man. It's like every time I go through it and I rewatch it, I'm like, okay, this could have been done like in a shorter amount of time. I think it drags a lot, and it just doesn't. To me, it just doesn't compare to like Blade Runner: The Final Cut. So I know that's probably very controversial, but
I'll agree. It did not have to be 2 hours and 45 minutes. There's no way that movie had to be 2 hours and 45 minutes.
I
you could have shortened that by
disagree.
a
I
half
wanted
hour at
more of
least.
that world. I wanted to stay more in the
I was
universe.
gonna say, I wish it was
I just want to live in
longer.
there. I'm actually the complete
Yeah.
opposite. Like I mean, this is a hot take. I'm not a fan of the original Blade Runner. Like the characterization,
Yeah, me
like
too.
Harrison Ford, and I can't think of the
Rutger
lady.
Hauer.
Yeah, like I never got their chemistry. Like I never understood their love story. I ever actually felt more invested in Decker's character in Blade Runner 2049 than I did even the original one. I thought the villain of the original one was just like the best character in that whole movie. But I love 2049, man. But yeah,
That's the thing. Is like, I feel like most people probably agree with you because like I think before 2049 came out, like you would talk to a lot of people and they'd be like, oh, Blade Runner's amazing, but then you'd like talk to an equal amount of people and they'd be like, I don't get it, you know? It's like the movie
That's
is like
how I
the
was the
movie-
first time I saw it. Yeah.
It's
Sure,
robots,
yeah.
man.
it's it's an interesting film because it's like it was super polarized. Actually, it was like people hated it when it first came out.
Yeah.
And then it was like through like Ridley cuts, like can he continued to go back to it and tweak it. And so like if you go watch the final cut, it's so much different from what we originally got when the film came out. But I don't know, man. Like I don't know. I feel like Blade Runner is a cyberpunk noir, and the first film is true to that, and then the second one kind of stops being that, and I don't like what. And then Jared Leto, it's like, what is he doing in that movie? It's like
He's a
I don't
creepy,
know.
weird cyberpunk 2077 character. He's a side character you get a mission from. He gives you like a robot arm upgrade. I'm not.
Thank God you watched that after Suicide.
I'm not
Listen,
big
I'm
on
just
the
waiting
film.
for Morbius. Okay, I just want Morbius right now. That's
Oh,
all
yeah.
A
I care about.
masterpiece that will be more.
Masterpiece.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what?
Oh, yeah.
Here's a good question. Now that you bring up Morbius, obviously every single movie was delayed. What movie was supposed to come out this year that you're looking forward to next year? I guess
Morbius.
Morbius. Honestly, in this roundabout way, I want to see what Morbius is.
Yeah.
On that same
But-
beat, I would say I'm very curious to see Andy Serkis's Venom 2. Just because I like him as a director, and obviously Tom Hardy and the whole idea of the mo capture, genius that Andy Serkis is, and obviously Woody Harrelson. I hope that they change his hairstyle and make Carnage a little bit more.
I want
comic
it
book
even
accurate.
bigger.
Even bigger and
redder.
more carrot top ish like. But yeah, I'm actually really interested to see what Venom 2 has. But in regards to your question, as far as movies that got pushed back to next year, what did get pushed back to next year? That's like a big one.
Everything.
Everything's like lost in the shuffle.
Look at everyone's most anticipated video on YouTube, and it's
I know,
never
like
a movie.
we're supposed to still get Quiet Place in September, and 007 later this year, and Wonder Woman's still scheduled, and all that. So I'm trying to think of like a film that got pushed a whole year that I'm excited.
I don't
can't
know.
think.
I'm still not 100% sure if Halloween Kills is going to come out this year because
Yeah,
I
that's
just haven't
true,
heard
yeah.
anything. I mean, I know they did test screenings, so it probably could and probably still will if theaters are open.
Yeah.
But I could see that getting pushed back to next year and then pushing the sequel
next
back
one,
another year. Yeah. So,
Well, again, I mean, this is marketing, but weren't they trying to do it cheeky because wasn't it going to come out exactly like on Halloween or Friday the 13th or something like that?
I thought it was
Maybe-
pretty early October. I can double check.
Okay, maybe I'm off. by
yeah,
that.
I don't remember for sure.
Yeah, I'm not
but-
sure.
I don't know. It's funny though because, like you're saying, there's a lot of movies that are supposed to come out in the next 3 months, and we really haven't seen anything.
Yeah.
You know, an image,
Well,
a
have you-
poster, a
I think Black
trailer.
Widow's the only one.
Well, that's like,
Yeah.
Black Widow
That's like-
and like
like-
Wonder Woman
Yep.
and
Yeah.
Tenet. That's about it.
that's
I
like,
think,
that's like even
Or
Oh, go ahead.
we got the one trailer.
Yeah, that's right.
even
yeah.
like Godzilla, even in Godzilla versus Kong's case, like they just gave that an MPAA rating.
Yeah,
like,
and
yesterday.
no-
It's like,
yeah.
but like, there's no trailer. Like, where's the trailer?
They're dropping it
Like,
tomorrow on
seriously.
VOD.
Right.
Kong
Probably.
versus Godzilla on VOD.
I would not be
That movie-
surprised.
I have to imagine the film's going to get pushed back because it's
I
going to
would
get
think so.
polarized
I would
where it's
think
coming
so. I
out.
mean, just because, like, especially with November so crowded.
Like, first of all, and maybe this is a little bit of bias, but I think No Time to Die is going to own the month of November, just like no question.
too.
And I think that if Kong is coming out like literally a week after No Time to Die, it's going to get demolished. Like the
Yeah.
past two Godzilla movies have not done well at the box office.
Yeah, they've
Right.
just consistently kept losing money. Yeah, all of the films in that
so-
universe.
Like, I almost feel like they're better off pushing it back. And then you've got like
They
Dune
are,
coming
I
out a
think,
little bit
yeah.
after Kong, so it's like are people
Yeah,
even
but
going
is
to care
Dune
about
really
that?
gonna make a difference?
I don't know. I feel like it'll do better than Kong.
Oh, I think it will.
That's
I don't think
I don't
Dune
know.
is gonna do better.
again,
than
that's
Kong.
another good question. Is like I know people that are in our spheres, obviously, are very excited for Dune, but like
I'm one of them, man.
Does
one of
the
them.
cat? Did you read the? Have you guys read the source material? Watched
I
the
haven't
80s
read it, so I
movie,
just saw
any of
the
that?
movie, the David Lynch, which is actually on HBO Max. If you guys ever want to check it out,
Okay.
the '80s version. But yeah, I'm really excited for Dune.
Yeah, I think
I've
outside
read
of.
Dune.
Go ahead, Hannah.
Oh, sorry. I've read Dune and I've watched David Lynch's film. I'm not a huge fan of the movie, but I'm a huge
me
fan
either.
of the book, and I love Denis Villeneuve.
Mhm.
The cast is great, so yeah, that's my most anticipated movie of the year.
Same here.
100%. Like
Same
even
here.
before like everything happened.
Mhm.
So
And well, and that's
Same
the thing
here.
is, it has all of the right pieces, from the composers to the
Yeah.
actors, actresses, to everyone
Yeah.
involved. But it's just like, does the casual fan want to see this Dune movie? Do they know what it is?
I think it goes out
yeah.
for marketing, man. They got to market it to
I
I haven't read the
hope-
book, but I heard it's
I-
like Game of Thrones meets Star Wars, so they got to really
Yeah,
play
I
to
was-
that audience.
I've been saying ever since like the conversation has kind of been brought up. Is Dune gonna do well? I've been saying that they need to market it like a Star Wars movie, or
Yeah.
else it's not gonna do anything.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That movie's success like really rests on the marketing, because I think going back to the source material is so niche, and it is not what people expect it to be. This is not like action spectacle. It is like really
Right.
dense stuff. And so I just don't know if like mainstream audiences are really going to gravitate towards it. So like they have to have the mother of all trailers,
Yeah.
and the mother of all marketing campaigns if they want to make their money back. Like people will go see Tenet because Christopher Nolan has built up up a brand, and he's proven that he can make really thought-provoking films and great spectacle that's accessible to a wide audience. I think Denis, on the other hand, has not proven that yet, and Dune could be the film where he does that. But I've always looked at Denis as being a little bit more art house than Nolan. They're very different filmmakers, but they tackle similar-ish kind of things. And so while film Twitter is going to go like bananas over Dune for sure, I just don't know if mainstream audiences are going to. So
They used to use that star power, man. Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya, Josh Brolin, Rebecca
Jason
Ferguson,
Momoa.
Jason Momoa. They need to put the stars in front of this film and really push it that way, because all of them have their own audience, massive audience.
Totally.
So,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, for the trailer, they should just show two or three people that aren't in the film and be like, everyone else is in this movie. These people, no, everyone else in this movie. Some people in the chat are saying, going back to our kind of overrated or most rated. Colin is saying Mad Max Fury Road is highly overrated. Ryan O'Toole is saying Birdman is highly overrated. Sean Chandler agrees with La La Land as well. So yeah, some people are kind of agreeing with us and whatnot. So yeah.
and I thought of my film too in regards to that did get pushed back last year is Ghostbusters. I was really looking forward to seeing what Ghostbusters had to offer. I like that
that would
trailer
be-
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
That
really
that
looking- I'm
trailer really
interested in
was a trailer in a long time that gave me just kind of like chills, kind of almost like this nostalgic,
Stuff, yeah.
like a great summer movie. So yeah,
Definitely.
was
I'm
was
tired
that
of Finn
push?
Wolfhard, though.
What's that?
I'm so tired of Finn Wolfhard.
Oh,
They
really?
just throw him in everything, right?
I
he was
know
in
he's in
the
like
Turning
every, like,
earlier
coming of
this
age,
year.
like,
Yeah.
adventure
Yeah.
movie, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
The go-to,
I
yeah.
can't.
They don't have
That's
anyone.
true.
They need to start getting more people in Hollywood, man.
And after seeing him in The Turning, I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah, kind of.
Oh my God, he was
Yeah.
so bad in that
Hilarious.
movie. It's
He
so
is
bad.
hilarious in it.
Wait, in
Yeah.
what
Oh my
movie?
God.
The
The
Turning.
Turning.
Turning. The movie in general.
Oh,
Oh,
McKenna.
Yeah.
the movie's horrible.
Yeah.
well. Also,
So
did
bad.
either of you see? Was it the Goldfinch that he was in?
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't. Yeah, I didn't. But I
He's
heard.
bad
Yeah.
in that too, actually.
Oh,
He's
I heard his
not doing
accent
that.
was terrible in that film.
Mhm.
Yeah. Maybe Finn Wolfhard has tricked us all into thinking he's a good actor.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's that,
Stranger Things.
could
it's that
Probably.
Netflix
Probably, yeah.
sheen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can only be in Stranger Things and Stranger Things adjacent movies like
Yep.
it.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Right.
That's
Right.
why he's in
I think
Ghostbusters.
fits that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
All
sure.
right, so Seth Ott has to say, what's a movie you'd like to see made into a TV show, and/or a TV show you'd like to see be turned into a movie?
Hmm.
Barry.
Oh, Barry.
Very
Yes.
good TV show. I would love to see Bill Hader turn
Yeah.
because how he talks about the show is that he thinks about the seasons
As
like
a
a
film.
movie,
Yeah.
and they just break it into 8 parts. I'd love to see him
Yeah.
take a season idea and then turn that into a movie. I just really want Bill Hader to direct a feature length film. I think he's amazing. So I mean,
I agree.
directed by
He's
Bill
incredible. Yeah, I saw you. Yeah, there you go. Nice.
I've never seen Barry.
Oh,
Is it
man,
like
it's
is
great,
it like
man.
hit,
It's
is it like
great.
comedy acting hitman?
That's exactly what it is. It's hard to try and pitch it to somebody.
Yeah,
and be
it really
"Hey, you
is.
should watch this.
Yeah,
It's just you gotta watch it.
it's great.
The best way I
Barry's
can
amazing.
describe it is kind of Breaking Bad, but kind of not, and more comedy, but also a little bit darker.
Mm.
It's hard. But it's
And it's not
amazing.
too much. It's only 2 seasons, so you can definitely binge it.
Yeah.
I'll throw that.
Yeah, they're
I mean,
like 30
super
minutes
30
each.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, with a quick 30-minute show like that, I've found it a lot easier to binge that kind of
digest,
stuff. So
yeah.
I'll put it on my list here right now with my
Just wait
all
for
my
season
other
2,
sticky notes.
episode 5, Jared. Season 2,
my
episode
God.
5.
Season 2,
It's
episode
one of the
5.
greatest episodes of television I've ever seen in my life.
Okay. Because I just got done watching Dave. Again, I'm not a big TV person, but people recommended Dave to me, and I absolutely loved it. I don't know if any of you guys have seen Dave, Little Dicky,
I
and whatnot.
heard
I've
it's
been
pretty
hearing
good
a
though.
lot about
Yeah.
it.
I haven't.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Movie, turned to TV show. I was thinking about this the other day, and I know Griffin, you're a big James Bond fan. I would like to see a James Bond kind of origin, kind of his upcoming to 007 and kind of his upbringing in the system, and kind of see what they could do with a show like that, or even a Harry Potter TV show. I think would be another somewhere to kind of invest into, and then show turn into a movie. Sticking to the Bill Hader kind of conversation, someone that I've been floored with for the last 10 years is Jason Bateman. So I would love to see maybe Ozark get turned into a movie, because I love Ozark and I love Jason Bateman, his comedy and his delivery, and him as a director too. He's a great director. So that comes to mind. And I don't know if you guys watched Defending Jacob, but I'd like to see Defending Jacob maybe get turned into a movie and kind of follow up to see what happened after that show, season finale. But yeah.
Yeah. You make a good point about 007, because I think there is potential for a series. I almost think there's more potential for a series if they don't focus on Bond. So if they focus on, I don't know, Felix or someone like that, or M, or Monty Penny, or other characters and other stuff in the universe.
Yeah.
I think there's potential for it. So yeah, for sure. I think that would be something that I'd definitely be interested in seeing. And then, oh shit, I just had. Oh well, I mean, the obvious ones are Daredevil, The Punisher. Obviously those should be movies and done well. Not that the TV shows weren't done well. I thought that both The Punisher and Daredevil were just
incredible.
Honestly, leagues above a lot of the stuff in the MCU. So, yeah, those would be ones I'd like to see turn into a movie, for sure.
How long until you think that we'll see any of those Netflix, those 5 properties, turned into a movie, or at least included in the MCU?
I don't think any of them is going to break into the MCU apart from maybe Daredevil. I think he's probably the easiest one to kind of bring in. Punisher would be too violent, and I don't think they'd find a good way to, I guess, give him a reason to be in the MCU at least. He's not super powered or anything like that. I think he probably would work better on his own, anyway. So
sure. Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I definitely, because what they get the rights back to Daredevil really soon, right?
At the end of the year,
6
I think.
months. Yeah. 6
Yeah.
months.
So they probably will. I don't know if they're gonna fast track anything for sure. They already have a plan in place, and so they might try and work him into, I don't know, a Spider-Man movie or something else. It probably won't be Charlie Cox, which is sad. But,
the one that I've seen people rumor, he somehow shows up in She-Hulk.
I was gonna say that would make sense because they're both lawyers, so that they will come across
But is
each
that
other.
too?
Well,
Is
I've
that
heard
too
that
obvious?
maybe She-Hulk is going to be introduced in Spider-Man 3.
Which would make
for a while, it was the thing where it's oh, maybe Daredevil's going to be in Spider-Man 3, and then it was oh, it's just going to be a lawyer kind of thing in Spider-Man 3, and then it turned into She-Hulk after it was announced. So
I mean, just thinking about it, there's going to probably be a lot of lawyers involved with the next phase of MCU, because we forget that Civil War, even though yes, the Avengers saved the universe, but every one of them were technically criminals in the courts that they had created. So there are some Hawkeye as Ronin, he murdered people for 5 years. So there's going to be a lot of lawyers going on in the next phase. Oh, there's
Yeah,
people
it's
getting out of
not
jail.
going to be superhero movies anymore.
Right,
It's going to
so
be crime drama.
wanna get-
crime
yeah.
Just
drama.
Law and
Exactly.
Order.
Law and
It's
Order
just
style.
one big, like every
Yeah,
movie has been a
Law and
crime
Order.
procedural.
Exactly.
Boston Legal.
Yeah. Oh man.
That's
I don't.
great.
I don't know. Again, everything is getting pushed back, so I'm kind of curious on how this, if any way, affects their plans and stuff. But wasn't there a rumor that they're going to release half of Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Yeah, I saw that the other day.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the rumor that's going
WandaVision and
around.
Loki.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all the shows they're just going to do the one half, and that, which yes, I would like to see him, but if the story was created for just a narrative to be kind of in one, kind of week to week experience, I don't know how they would break it, and like it would just feel weird, and we got to wait 6 to 7 months to see the second half. It just kind of sounds weird.
It's annoying. Yeah.
I've heard that people are thinking that WandaVision isn't done either, because for a while everyone thought that it was finished, and I think that someone confirmed it was finished. But now that like the Evan Peters stuff came out, people are like, and like the half season things, people are thinking that it's not finished, which is weird.
Well, the flip side to that could be, so like the Mandalorian wrapped a long time ago, and now we're just starting to get stuff about the people who are directing it and involved in it. So it could be like an instance of that, but yeah, I don't know.
So. I want to see WandaVision very badly. So.
Me too.
I'm hoping.
Same. Yep.
Weird. Yeah, that one's probably the most like bizarre from what we've seen or heard about it, at least. Dorito Chip Gamer has to say, oldest movie you have seen. Mine is the original King Kong.
Metropolis from
I was about to
1927.
say, yeah, probably Metropolis, right?
Yeah, I think that's the oldest
Actually, hold on, I might have one before that. Is it the?
I think mine is
When did
basic,
Metropolis come
Citizen
out?
Kane.
1927.
Whoa.
Oh shit. Okay, so there's an Alfred Hitchcock film, a really old one, silent movie called The Lodger, which also came out in 1927. So that would
see.
I'd probably have to say, and this is like borderline cliche, but Wizard of Oz. I mean, I don't think I've seen anything older than that.
Yeah, I saw this in
It
film
might be
school.
Wizard of Oz too.
We say Modern Times, the Charlie Chaplin film, 1936 was the film, like probably the oldest film I saw for film when I was in school for film.
Yeah.
yeah, either Metropolis or The Lodger, which I guess both came out in the same year. So
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. There's just so many years of film where it's like I've seen everything. It's like there's so much that slips through the cracks and stuff. I mean, I was saying the other day on a stream, like Citizen Kane, Gone with the Wind, like all that stuff. I've just never seen it.
I haven't seen Citizen Kane either.
Oh, Fanjexture brought up a really good point. A Trip to the Moon. Yeah, I saw that when I was in school as well. That would probably be the oldest one because that was literally 1902. Like, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the movie with the train? I remember seeing that. It's like a super short movie.
Is it The Great Train Robbery?
I
I think it's
so.
the Great Train Robbery. Yeah.
I think I remember seeing that. Yeah, and I think that was
That's like
one of the
another
more
one that's
earlier.
around that time too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how long are those? Like, obviously it's a movie, but like, are they like 4 minutes?
I think that one was pretty short. I guess.
The Great Train Robbery was 12 minutes.
12. Okay.
Yeah, and like A Trip to the Moon is like either around that length or like I don't know, like 9 or something like that. They're just like super short. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're YouTube videos.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pixar short.
Well, you can find them on
It's
YouTube.
a good way of
so-
equating it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a horrible way of equating it. All right, we got one from Fanjexture. Rank the Back to the Future movies. Heated debate, I guess.
I've only seen the first one.
1, 2, 3.
I would say 1, 2, 3 for me. Yeah.
I honestly hate 3. I don't like Back to the Future 3 at all. So, yeah, 1, 2, 3.
All good. I guess it would be 1, 2, 3. I mean, 3 is interesting because it just does something completely different, and they go to the Old West, and that's like cool.
Yeah.
But like I like how 2 is like closely married to the first one. The only problem with 2 is that it just repeats a lot of the same things as the first one. So I don't know, maybe 1, 3, 2. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd probably go with it, Alex, where it's 1. Wait, Yeah, from best to worst, 1, 2, 3. But 2, for some reason, I always try to remember what 2 is, and it's just so confusing because they go back, they go forward, they go forward, they go back. Like, there's a lot going on in that movie. And I always thought it was weird. I guess I never saw it in theaters, but how at the end they like don't they show that like 30-second clip of like, hey, this is what's coming?
One. Yeah.
Because they shot them back to back.
Okay, that's why I was like, how did they have? But that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. I had one and I lost one. Have you guys seen? I'm assuming TCM. What Texas Chainsaw Massacre? And if so, which one is your favorite? I haven't seen them. Doesn't appeal to me.
I mean, the original is literally a perfect movie.
Yeah.
I mean, that movie still holds up.
It does.
It's almost like a documentary. That's a scary movie. That's a really scary and disturbing film.
And the remake doesn't get talked about enough too with Jessica Biel. I like the remake.
Watch that.
I really like the remake.
I was gonna say the most recent. I think it was like 3D or something like that. I remember watching that. I think it was 3D, maybe the most recent remake of it. Anyway, I watched that in theaters, and I remember liking it. And I didn't like movie. I wasn't like super into movies at the time, and I rewatched it not too long ago. And I didn't think it was all that bad. Like every time that someone talks about it, they're like, "It's like the worst thing I've ever seen." And I'm like, I don't think it's all that bad. I think it's fun enough. I don't know.
I don't. Okay, is the original the one where there's like a guy in a wheelchair and they're kind of just going room to room in like a cabin? Or am I crazy?
The first one?
Yeah, the very first one.
Yeah, doesn't that one has like there is a guy in a wheelchair in that one for sure.
And one of the family members.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've actually seen. I've seen maybe clips of it, whatnot.
I've never seen any of them, so I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Well, definitely watch the first one at least. Yeah, it's a classic. For sure.
I was supposed to in a college film class for like a horror class, but then my teacher asked it. He's like, "No, it's definitely going to be too gory for people." I think.
Yeah, it's brutal.
In a college class?
Yeah, I feel like I've seen some crazy shit
I know,
in
right?
college.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, that was like the one that seemed the most interesting. So
weird.
That was the one I was looking forward to. And then he axed it. I was like, come on, man.
Yeah,
It
weird.
seems weird to like be in like a film class like in college. It's like censored. That's so weird.
We're watching PG-13 movies only.
Ass back. What the hell?
That's so odd.
Weird. All right. This one's definitely not a question for me because this is not my genre. Favorite horror remake?
Suspiria. Luke,
yes.
Suspiria. I love Suspiria.
That is a good call. That's a great call.
Masterpiece.
That's a great call.
That's it.
Perfect.
It is. That's a great call there.
Right.
Which gets me even more.
Like one of those movies where I genuinely don't understand how like fans of horror
people
don't
didn't like it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It just,
yeah.
I like the remake more than the original, if I'm being honest.
I do too.
Yeah, me too.
The great thing about the remake is that it's almost the anti-version of the original, and I think it has way more to say than the original film.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's
even then, it takes
genius.
the messages in the first one and like expands on those.
Yes. Yeah.
And somehow like modernizes it at the same time being like a period piece. Like it's just. There's so many layers to that film that it's just like, Luca, you genius.
That's why I'm excited for the whole remake for what is it, Scarface. I'm looking forward to see his interpretation of Scarface and what he does.
Yeah, honestly, that movie gets me like even more excited for that because it's like remaking. I mean, granted, Scarface has been made like a few times, but like the Al Pacino one is the definitive one. But like seeing what Luca could do with. After seeing what he did with Suspiria, I'm totally on board. Suspiria was my favorite movie of 2018. That movie like floored me.
Even though Luca is like he's so like praised for like Calling by Your Name, I still think he's like a very underrated filmmaker. I know like everyone like associates like Calling by Your Name and like some people are like Suspiria, but like I Am Love, A Bigger Splash, like all of his movies are fantastic. I love him. I adore him.
Yeah, he doesn't get the credit he deserves for sure.
No.
As someone who has no idea what Suspiria is, sell me on it.
Oh Jesus! It's a coven of witches.
Yeah, a coven of witches
and a
ballerina.
There's magic. There's lots of gore. It depends which one you're talking about too.
Man, that's
because
a
the first
scary
Tom
one, like,
York
I'd
from
pitched that one
Radiohead
completely
does the
different.
Does the
score.
score. It is incredible.
That's
It
all-
is
that's it.
transcending. It is incredible.
That's all
I
you
love
gotta
that
know.
soundtrack.
Yeah.
Love that
Weird.
soundtrack.
Weird. Yeah, I remember
There-
seeing the trailers at least or something, and just people like interpretive dancing. I'm like, this isn't for me.
There is a certain scene
Yeah.
with an interpretive dance in the
Mhm.
film that if you just watch
Pretty
the film
brutal.
once another time where it's like you can just watch it once and it'll stay with you forever.
Mm-mm.
Like you'll never forget it. It is one of the most
Yeah.
disgusting things you will ever see. But amazing.
Well,
at the
I don't
same
want to
time.
see that.
I'll give some quick love to Evil Dead, 2013's Evil Dead. I think that's a really good
Yeah.
remake, and obviously John Carpenter's The Thing was a
Yep.
remake. So those are two from the mind as
Yep.
well.
Yeah, it's
I would
pro-
say
as-
I would say
Go
for
ahead,
me,
Alex.
2011's Fright Night. I have so much
That's a good
fun every year when I watch that.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
It's so funny. I love what's the guy? He played Goblet of Fire. What's his name? David Tennant. He's so great as Peter Vincent. He's just got all the charisma. Just Colin Farrell, Colin Farrell's the vampire right off the bat. And when he kills McLovin in that movie, there's just something satisfying about that. I don't know why.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
shit. All right, another
That
one.
guy's forever.
Oh,
McLovin.
yeah, we can keep talking about that. If you had one.
Oh no, I was gonna say. Oh fuck, I had it. Well, okay. Do you I guess Halloween 2018 technically isn't a remake, but it
Right, it's a
also
follow-up, yeah.
is. Yeah,
It's a
it's also
reboot.
yeah, rebookable. Yeah, that's weird.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so that one's really good. Going back to House of Wax, it's listen, nothing's gonna beat the original Vincent Price film, but like the Paris Hilton one, like it's almost like a Saw movie in a weird way, but it's like
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Like, it's like way more. I don't know. It's really hard to describe, but yeah, that one's really good. And then one that I think gets shat on a little too much is the Friday the 13th
I was
remake.
literally gonna say that, man.
Oh, the one from
That
09?
opening- Yeah, that opening scene
Yeah.
too is so.
Yeah.
It's
Jason
great.
just-
That
yeah,
was-
that's a good call.
Yeah, that's like a 20-minute scene, and it's just like it opens like that. I was just like, whoa, like
Yeah.
Can I say Funny Games? It's technically
Oh yeah.
technically a remake. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I love Funny Games. So
Is Funny Games the one where the two people like break into the house and make the family do weird shit?
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's any and all horror films, so I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
All right.
Funny Games is different though.
Okay.
It's not
Um,
just like a home invasion movie.
There's more to it from the once it starts unfolding or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Dorito Chip again. Scariest theater experience.
The horror questions keep coming.
I know. He must know his audience. I don't know. You guys keep diving in on it. I'll take this one because I'm a big old scaredy cat. There's two of them that I remember. The remake of The Grudge in like 2000, early 2000s, mid 2000s. I saw with a significant other, and horror films, when I see them in the movie theater, I just watch the bottom left corner. So I couldn't tell you a damn thing that happens in that movie. And then another one in college, I went to that. It's kind of a throwaway film now, once you think about it. But that As Below, So Above, or As Above, So Below, or something, where they go down into the London catacombs, I believe. One again.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
It was just creepy. I don't like it, especially when there's just it's dark and you only kind of hear sound effects and then like glimpses of people.
I
Scariest
forgot
theater
what
experience.
Saw movie it is, but I saw a Saw movie in theaters, and that's like me. That is like my worst fear in the world is like thinking of like ever being in a situation like that.
Make your choice.
So watching it in a theater, like dark and like it was awful.
Nice.
No.
Yeah.
Like thinking about it gives me PTSD.
Yeah, I think for
Yeah.
me, one of the scariest ones, I mean, caused like at least 2 sleepless nights, was seeing The Witch, which for a lot of people wasn't really that scary. But I don't know.
Yeah.
For me, there was just something like really authentic, tangible, and just like disturbing about it. It was
Yeah.
one that's like, I don't know, it just like stuck with me, and it just freaked me the fuck out. So that one for sure. And then the original Blair Witch Project. I didn't see it in theaters, but watching it, knowing that it's supposed to take place close to where I grew up, and the found footage thing is just like, we laugh at it now, but back in the day, it was super effective. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, like the whole backstory of how they did that with just the filming with the like GPS, and they didn't really tell them what they were going to do, and how they marketed it, essentially like the first kind of like internet marketing. It's just fascinating.
I know, yeah.
Because maybe I'm getting Paranormal Activity mixed up, but wasn't there one where there's no opening credits and there was no closing credits, where it just was the movie?
No, that's Blair Witch. Yeah,
okay, that's Blair Witch
doesn't
then.
have-
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would scare the shit out of you when you're like, oh, who played? Oh, nope, those are real people.
Yeah, right. It's freaky, yeah.
Alex, I don't know, did you have one, or Elliot?
Yeah, so my scariest theater experience, it's actually not related to a horror movie, but it's when The Dark Knight Rises came out. So we all know about what happened when that movie came out. So the downtown theater in Boston is probably like the most sketchy like theater you could ever go to, and it's like a lot like drug addicts go in there to like watch movies for free. So it's like towards like the end, like when Batman and Catwoman and like are going after the bomb with Gordon, and the riots are breaking out, like right before Batman fights Bane, there was just somebody that just let out like a huge like yell in the theater, and then he was sitting right in front of me too. He's like, I'm just gonna like kill everybody if this isn't any better. I'm like, fuck is wrong with you, buddy? Like, yeah. He's just like, oh no, like sorry, like something happened to my neck. I'm like, no, it didn't. So like my brother and I were like freaked out. We moved up to the back of the theater. I was just like, holy fuck.
Jeez.
I had something weird like that happen to me when I went and seen Halloween in 2018. This like halfway through the movie, this guy walked in and just like stood in the back, and then just kept like coming forward and forward a little bit, and then, like it happened for like 15 minutes, and he was silent, and at least he kept looking around like being sketchy, and then nobody said anything to him, and I was like, what the fuck, I can't watch the movie because I'm too distracted by this man.
When that happens, I just
up,
get distracted by everybody.
I stood up and I was like, are you okay? And then he goes, yeah, I'm okay. And then he goes and sits down, and I'm like, what the, and didn't say anything.
Whoa, that gives me the chills.
Weird.
Maybe he was trying to see if was he trying to look for someone and didn't want to like he went all the way up, and I don't know. That's weird. That's weird.
I don't fucking know. It was super scary, super sketchy though. Hated it.
Elliot, did you have one, or did you already say?
I would probably say 2009's The Descent. When I saw that in theaters, that was a really great movie theater experience, and not expecting. The trailer did a really good job of keeping the demons and the monsters in the caves pretty secretive. But so that comes to mind. And then the first Paranormal. I was pretty shook up with that when I saw that for the first time, 2007 or 2008 maybe. But yeah, those are two that kind of come to mind as far as horror films go.
Yeah, I know a lot of people always bring up Paranormal Activity with the whole, hey, is this real? Is it not? And whatnot. Quick thing, I will give a shout out to Nicole Ganson for a $40 donation. Thank you so much for donating. Awesome. It means a lot, so thank you. I don't know if you guys had any more on that one. Otherwise, we can go to the next question. What was the funniest movie or scene that you absolutely love? Comedy. Now we're talking my style.
My favorite comedy of all time is Superbad. So anything from Superbad.
Yeah. For me, the scene that always gets me every time is that scene with Gilbert Gottfried in Beverly Hills Cop 2. I just die laughing every single time I see it. Like, I'm rolling on the floor, just dying.
That's a good one. Yeah. I know a theater experience for myself, and this is not a good movie at all. I know a lot of people, it's one that they're never going to watch. Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. I don't know if I was in just a depressed mood. I went to it by myself on a Tuesday cheat night, and I am crying in the movie theater because everything they were doing was so funny. I mean, maybe if I go watch it again, it's not going to land, but that time and place, I absolutely loved it.
I would say the 21 and 22 Jump Street. That always makes me laugh.
Oh, yeah.
That Jonah Hill doing the spoken word thing is always funny. It's never not to be funny. The Nice Guys, everything in The Nice Guys is absolutely hilarious, no matter how many times I watch it. Recently, I keep bringing this up in like everything I've been a part of, but I just want to recommend it to everyone because more people need to watch it. Middle Edition Shorts on Netflix. It's 3 episodes. It's long form improv, and it's absolutely hilarious.
It's so funny.
I keep rewatching that, and it's so good. So.
It's fascinating to see how well they work together because
Yeah.
the opening, you're just like, oh, they're just having a conversation with these people up in the balcony, and that's the whole show. Yeah, that's a good recommendation.
It's insane.
Yeah. So like the 3 comedies that I continuously go back to, and there's like so many more. We'll just stick with these 3. So The Other Guys. That's my favorite Will Ferrell comedy. I think that is,
gun.
it is absolute. The whole tuna scene. The fact that even exists is like absurd. It's so funny. And then obviously the best part is when like, you know, The Rock and Samuel L. Jackson just like jump off the building and say aim for the bush. Like, it's so stupid, but I fucking love it. So that movie for sure. This Is the End is my favorite comedy of all time. That movie is
Oh my god, yeah.
masterful.
Yes.
It's so fun.
Oh, my phone, it's right here. Oh.
It's just like it's like everyone is playing like a caricature version of themselves using their real names, and then they're
Danny
like, you know what, Michael
McBride,
Cera,
man.
yeah, right. And
Danny
then Michael
McBride.
Cera is like a complete asshole. It is so funny, and then he gets killed in a brutal way. Danny
Yeah.
McBride is
Killed.
freaking
Oh my
hilarious.
goodness. Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of scenes, that scene always gives me the magazine scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Come all over the place.
So good. And then just Jonah Hill is just like when Danny McBride's just like throwing insults at all of them, he's just like, Jonah, you cunt. I'm like, what? Oh my god. It's great. And then the other one, which is just like, you know, super lowbrow, but just like amazing comedy, is just Dumb and Dumber. Like,
Yes.
you can't the toilet scene in Dumb and Dumber. It's so childish. It's so just like, you know, the lowest of the low, but it's so fucking funny. Like, I can't. Jim Carrey and God, why am I blanking on his name?
Jeff Daniels.
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
Jeff Daniels are so funny
Perfect.
in that.
Yeah.
It's so well written. It's got some of the best gags ever. It's just like,
What are you
just when
doing
think
in there? Shaving.
Or the what is it, the hot sauce thing when they kill the guy.
Oh
in
yeah,
the
here, take your
restaurant?
pill. Yum, yum, yum. God, yeah.
What We Do in the
so
Shadows
stupid.
is
Oh,
one of
that's
my
a great
favorites,
call.
Oh
too.
yes,
Yeah,
thank
that's a great
you.
call.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
what we
good.
do in
Yeah.
the shadows. is
That
funny.
whole hallway, I watch it all the time. It's the hallway scene of them like drawing each other
Mhm,
and like getting ready
Yeah.
to like go out. That amazing.
Have you
that
watched
one's
the show?
good.
Have you guys
Yeah, I
watched
was
the show?
just
of
gonna
it?
ask if anyone's
Yeah.
seen the show.
I gotta get into
Oh
it.
yeah, the show
It's
is really
funny.
good. It's really funny. Yeah.
I'm gonna check it out.
All right, let's see here. I'm gonna scroll down because it looks like Zach is on his break, so I want to answer his question. Zach Pope, let's see. Currently on a break. Question: what's a film that you guys think are heavily important to watch right now that could influence or educate people on the matters going right now? This is a relevant and very important question. So yeah, what do you guys have?
Well, I'll go with the first one, which is free for right now if you guys have Apple TV or Vudu, but Just Mercy with Jamie Foxx and Michael B. Jordan and Brie Larson is just definitely something to recommend. And then probably one of my best pieces of like television watching experience, movie watching, if you want to call it a movie, but Ava DuVernay's When They See Us on Netflix is just incredible. And it's just, there's a lot of great stuff out there. The hate you give, things of that nature is great. But yeah, Ava DuVernay's When They See Us is something I highly recommend people check out if they haven't already.
Yeah, I would say if Bill Street could talk, for sure.
Yep.
I would say Black Klansman.
Yep.
Shit, what's another one? There was another one that I was. Oh well, speaking of Ava DuVernay, the 13th, her documentary on Netflix.
Yeah.
Super important. Detroit.
Detroit's a good one, yeah.
Very,
yeah,
very
definitely
underrated
Detroit.
film.
Definitely
Yeah.
Detroit.
Yeah.
Definitely Detroit.
Yeah, I'm
I'll go
gonna
with the one
echo-
that Twitter's been talking
No, go ahead.
about. Blind spotting. Sorry.
Blind
Oh,
Spotting,
yeah,
that's a
Blind
You
good
Spotting.
stole mine,
Yeah.
Hannah. You stole mine.
Sorry.
one. Good one.
Twitter's
Good
been
one.
like really pointing out how important blind spotting is right now.
Spike Lee, Do the Right
I
Thing.
still think
Yeah.
that
There's
this movie is so underrated.
that was gonna be that's one of my choices. The Hate You Give, Black Klansman, Just Mercy. I mean, I'm trying to think of other ones off the top of my head. I mean, we said Detroit. Yeah, I think that's all I got off the top of my head right now.
I mean, like next week, you better believe that Defy Bloods is going to be massive. Yeah,
Yep.
Very excited for that.
Yeah.
Some
Coming
people
out
in
at
the
the perfect time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Some people, Ryan O'Toole says in the chat, Selma is very super
Selma's
underrated
awesome.
as well.
Oh yeah,
also,
I meant to say Selma.
Also,
It dropped
he's saying
down.
42 as well. Is that the Jackie Robinson
Jackie
one?
Robinson.
Yeah, it's the Jackie Robinson one. Yep.
Yeah, that. Oh, Fruitvale Station as well. Someone's saying.
Yeah.
Oh,
that,
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah,
that
I was
one's
gonna say
Fruitvale,
very
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
revelation
definitely
is
for Phil.
breathtaking.
Yep.
Yeah, that one, and I think Blind Spotting. I'm just kind of kicking myself because I saw that one about a month, 3 weeks ago, I think, 3 weeks or a month, and I'm just like, I don't know how this just slipped through the cracks of like in the theaters. I think that it was just it wasn't really showcased too much, but that oh man, it was
Yeah.
it was
Blind
so
Spotting's
weird because
amazing.
it tackles such serious stuff, but there's also comedic, lighthearted moments as well.
Mhm.
Definitely.
I was just talking to my sister about that, about how it's weird how you could kind of categorize Blind Spotting as a comedy,
Mhm.
but it's like so like heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
amazing.
they play with point of view because when those two dudes are in that moving place and they're telling the story, it's very much comedic. And then it's like, well, this is what I saw from my point of view, and it's like, oh, this is horrific. So they do such a great job of kind of showing you different point of views of things. All right. Ryan O'Toole, interesting question for you guys. What is your favorite movie that starts with the first letter of your name? Oh, man.
I'm like gonna
man.
blink on
Yeah, I gotta look
everything
at it
right
now.
now.
I know,
Oh,
me
Jesus
too.
Christ.
I'm gonna look at it.
I'm going to say...
Probably Alien.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Alien or Aliens?
Aliens, I think. Actually, Aliens.
I'll just go with the first one I just saw on Google. Ex Machina. E for Elliot.
That movie still sits with me about how, like, essentially that could be the future, where it's like, are these real? Are these humans? What's going on?
Yeah.
Alex Garland. Yeah.
I think for me, it would either be GoldenEye or Goldfinger.
Or a gold member.
Nice.
Or Gold Member. Yeah.
Because the only thing I can think about right now, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. That's my favorite Harry Potter movie, and Harry Potter. Yeah, I'm blanking on everything right now.
Right.
Yeah. I gotta. Well, for mine, I'm just gonna say Jurassic Park, closely followed by John Wick. But I'm curious about the Harry Potter thing. For some reason, it's almost like known that the Prisoner of Azkaban is like the favorite, the one that everyone goes to. Am I crazy, or is that kind of how everyone leans?
Yeah,
Not me.
I think so.
Yeah.
Almost
Not
everyone
me.
that I talk to. What's your favorite?
Yeah, it's
Is it Hallows Part 2?
either that or Goblet of Fire.
Yeah.
Prisoner of Azkaban for me is actually my least favorite, not counting the Fantastic Beasts sequels.
Oh my
There's just
God.
something off about that
Wow.
movie. I do not like all of the like freeze frames and the fade outs. I hate the shrunken heads. Like
They
I
do
don't
a great
like Daniel
job.
Radcliffe.
They do a great
I don't
job
like
with the
Daniel
time
Radcliffe's
elements, though.
performance.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say it's like
Ew.
probably my favorite
Yeah.
time travel movie.
It also just like
But yeah,
the Chris Columbus films felt very much like, you know, they were more family. I mean, all the Harry Potter movies are family friendly, but they felt like, you know, family adventures, and they in both movies kind of stuck to the same formula. When you get to Prisoner of Azkaban, Quaron is like doing something completely different. He kind of changes up the aesthetic and makes it a little bit more gothic. It's just like there's something about the way the world looks in Prisoner of Azkaban that is so interesting and striking, yet like different, yet you could totally believe that it takes place in the same world as the previous two films. And I think as opposed to all the movies really deal with the characters and their struggle, but like Prisoner of Azkaban kind of digs a little bit deeper into like Harry's, you know, longing for like an adult figure to kind of attach himself to, like a parental figure. And so, like, I think just based off of that alone, it's doing a little bit more than a lot of the other movies. So I think that's why I always gravitate towards it. And then also just, like, Coron as a filmmaker, he's just doing some incredible things with, like, and then obviously, like, Chivo with the camera. But, like, yeah, it's amazing. And I will also say it's probably John Williams' best Harry Potter score. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a family-friendly thriller. Like a PG thriller.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Seth again has to say, what's a movie you've only seen once but loved but not watched since or rewatched?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, for
The Irishman.
That's a great call. I was going to say, I was going to say, but I haven't found get the energy to go watch a 3.5.
You don't have 3.5 hours on your hands.
It's too long, yeah.
Speaking of Scorsese, I'd probably say Silence.
Oh yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Silence is another one, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's a great question. I'll probably go with sticking with the horror theme, Dr. Sleep. I really enjoyed Dr. Sleep, and I haven't revisited since I saw it in November. And I would like to see the director's cut of Mike Flanagan's director's cut. I'd like to see that. So that's probably what I think of.
Yeah, I just rewatched Dr. Sleep for the first time since theaters like a couple of days ago, and I watched the director's cut, and I like kind of loosely remembered what the theatrical one was, but to my knowledge, like the extended cut, I liked the stuff that was added. It felt natural, so I really dug that. But that was such an underrated movie. I feel like that came out last year. It's like people either really dug what they were doing.
It, yeah.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think the majority liked it, but it still kind of seemed like it was kind of divisive.
Do you guys think that it would have benefited if they would have done like The Shining Part 2 or something like that?
The marketing of it, that could have helped.
No. I think it actually would have turned more people off of it because they're like, why are you going to do a sequel to The Shining when The Shining's already a perfect movie?
Yeah.
And without Jack Nicholson and like all that stuff. So it's like, I think by branding it, by the novel's name, Dr. Sleep, and then like tying in the Shining elements in the marketing, I think it was probably the smarter move. But I don't know. That movie I don't think ever was going to do gangbusters at the box office, truthfully. It just doesn't seem, didn't seem like that kind of film.
That's true.
I mean, there's a handful of people that really loved it, though. I mean, I know that when,
Maybe one.
I loved it.
Same.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I guess another film too, kind of in horror. The Lighthouse was a favorite of mine last year, and I own the movie, and I've yet to rewatch it since I saw it in theater. So that's another one to think of.
Yeah.
That movie, it doesn't fall in the same Midsummer situation for me, but it's just like it's a movie I'm probably not gonna watch again. That one was
weird. That's
weird.
one of the ones from last year that I rewatched like a lot.
Really?
I fucking love the
I did too.
Yeah,
I saw that
It was
one
just
a lot,
so
too.
fucking bonkers, man. Like,
I
what is
love
going
it,
on?
though. Like that movie kind of falls in like the same vein as something like Killing of a Sacred Deer for me, where it's like it's weird, it's fucked up, and like it's dark, and I probably shouldn't like rewatching it as much as I do, but I do.
I gotta recheck it out.
For myself, I'm just kind of scrolling through, movies I've watched in the last year. 1917, maybe. I mean, I know that a lot of people love that, but I just in my mind, I'm like, that deserves the big screen and the big sound. My TV at home is not going to do it justice.
I agree with that. I've seen it once in the theaters, and I don't really have a desire to rewatch it.
Yeah, it's similar to that. As much as I love Dunkirk, I've only seen it once or twice at home, and I really struggled to do that just because I saw that movie like, God, I don't know, maybe like 10 times in theaters, and I just replicating that experience at home is impossible. So similar to like what you were saying with 1917, it's like I don't know if I've done it, but like I don't know if I could really do it, like go back and rewatch it as much, even though I love it.
Anyone else has any more for this last question?
Dorito Chip Gamer put in a good one in there. He said Shazam. I have not gone back and rewatched Shazam, man.
Me either. I've only seen Shazam.
I think I've seen it. I think I've seen him one other time since last April.
Same.
But yeah,
Well,
it's
I
a really
know
good movie.
quite a few people are like they love that film, but they just haven't gone back and
Good.
watched it.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
it.
I mean,
just haven't gone back to it. I think I got everything that I'm ever gonna get out of it in the first.
Yeah, right. No,
Not
I
to
think
like
that's a
discount it, but yeah.
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 No, I think it's a totally valid point. I know for a lot of people the rewatch value on that film is high, but I don't know. It's just like I walked out of it, and when I first saw it, I was like, yeah, it's good.
Mhm.
Probably won't watch it again. I don't I don't know.
Mhm.
It's weird.
Sounds like we're
Um,
like dogging but not dogging on Shazam. Like we're like,
Right.
it's like
No, yeah, it's like it's a good movie, but I don't know.
One last thing before we can wrap up and plugs and all that stuff. Do you guys think movie theaters are gonna open it up in a month?
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds
Think
like
so?
Cinemark is
I
really
mean,
going hard for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't Cinemark planning to?
Yeah, they said June. Yeah,
I-
later
I
this
mean,
month. I thought.
I don't know. The AMC situation's a lot different, I think,
Yeah.
especially since they're close to bankruptcy, which I don't want to see.
Yeah.
I hope that they can avoid bankruptcy somehow, but I don't know. I think it's a tough call. It depends on it and Mulan get pushed back.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I think there was like business reports coming out that like enough theaters will be open by the time that Tenet is supposed to come out that
Yeah,
it'll come out. And so I think maybe they'll be open by the time Tenet comes out, and then probably for Wonder Woman 1984, but like let's just be real, there's going to be a second wave of this in the fall, and so they might have to close up again. So
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Or maybe it just comes to a point where we just learn to live with what's going on and just, you take your own personal risks. So I have no idea.
Gives me an
Yeah.
excuse not to go hang out with certain people. I don't know. Do you guys have any final thoughts on kind of movie theaters or anything like that?
I know me personally, if they said the theaters were opening up tomorrow, it's gonna me personally, it's gonna be a while before I'll be back in the
Yeah.
theater. I mean, maybe September, October. For me, just feeling personally comfortable going back to the theater, movie theater experience, even though it's gonna suck. If Tenet's at the theater, that's a tough call, but I just know for me, I don't know, I don't feel comfortable with it right now. The idea.
No, Elliot, I'm right there with you, man. Because the movie theater close by, it's only in my state and a few other sprinkled around. They opened up last Friday, and everyone has to wear masks. Very limited screen times where they're cleaning between. Everyone is sitting apart and stuff. But there's no movie that's going to draw me out right now. If and when Tenet does, like some people are kind of saying, that will be the first one I go to. But I can't sit there with enjoy a movie wearing a mask on because
Right.
it's just not comfortable.
Yeah.
How do you eat
Again,
your popcorn?
I'd
How do
rather
you
sit-
on your
drink?
breathing.
Yeah,
Jared,
exactly.
are they doing concessions at your theater? 'Cause
Yeah.
I heard like somewhere like they're saying that like they might shut like down concessions or something, but
No,
Even if theaters open back up.
everything is still open. It's one of those that serves food too in certain theaters, and they have a full bar and everything. So, again, personally, I don't feel safe. I mean, kind of like Elliot's saying, I don't know if
Yeah.
some of you guys are kind of agreeing with that, but it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, though, everyone watching, everyone that joined me, thank you so much for this Q&A. Honestly, thank you. I was scrambling together to try to gather people because I planned this way too late, but thank you guys so much for joining. Obviously, this is for a great cause. We've raised quite a bit of money, and we're only like halfway through, but thank you guys. Plugs, where people can find you. We'll start with Elliot. Where can people find you?
Yeah, no, Jared, man, I appreciate you having me on, man. Like you said, man, it's for a great cause, and right now we know America's kind of turned upside down, so it's important to have these, streams that dedicate money to Black Lives Matter movement and everything of nature. So couldn't be happier to be a part of this. So yeah, in regards to check it out my channel, guys. Check me out. Movie Files. I've been took a break this week just with everything going on, but I plan on kind of getting things back up and running for tomorrow with 13 Reasons Why season 4. There's a couple other movies that are dropping. Shirley on I believe it's going to be available on Hulu tomorrow with Elizabeth Moss, so I'll be checking that out. And then doing my weekly reviews for Mark Ruffalo's I Know This Much Is True on HBO. So keep an eye out for that content. I will be on another stream this weekend that's going to be doing the exact same thing as Jared's doing. in regards to streams that are dedicating their money to the Black Lives Matter and different foundations to kind of help the injustice system that's going on in America right now. So I'll be a part of that on Saturday. That's on Geeky Goods site or his YouTube channel. So check me out there on Saturday and support that stream. And again, Jared, thank you for having me on. And I'll be back later today. So
yeah,
be back later today.
Elliot, you will be back for a little bit at 6 o'clock. So people that are tuning in then, he will be back talking about, honestly, whatever the hell we want to talk about. But thank you so much. Hannah, what about you?
Yeah, thank you for asking me to be a part of this. I had such a good time, and it's for a great cause, like Elliot said. At Movies and Cats is my Twitter, and then the at Cinemania World podcast. I'm on all the time. So.
Yep. Alex, what about you, man?
First of all, I just want to say thanks, Jared, for having me on. I'll be back a little bit later. Glad you're doing what you're doing for a good cause. You can find me on my official website, alexmaddenmovies.mystrikingly.com. All my social media links are there, and then you can find me on the Cinemania World podcast.
And then Griff, what about you, my man?
Yeah, for sure. I'm really happy to be a part of this. I'm glad to, help out in any way I can and amplify, Black voices and voices of creators who need to be heard. So just, do what you can, help the cause. And we're in a weird time right now, and stuff like this, gives me encouragement. So thanks for doing this, Jared. Really, it's great job. So you guys can give me a follow on Twitter at Griff Schiller. And then you can also check out the Film Speak channel. I'm going to be having a live stream tomorrow and Saturday. Tomorrow is the Criterion and Classics Movie Club. We're going to be talking about Ingmar Bergman's Fanny and Alexander, so that should be interesting. And then Saturday is just Q&A. And then hopefully Monday or Tuesday I'll have my my interview with Jason Isaacs out. So that's really fun. So
there you go.
Check it out.
Everyone has a bunch of stuff to look forward to. Again, I will edit this later because I didn't think that the stream would be interrupted, but all of their links, all of their information will be down in the description. But seriously, we couldn't do it without you guys for joining me. So again, thank you so much. And everyone in the chat that is donating and everything. Like, this is for a very good cause. Like, honestly, I've just been just kind of emotional about everything. So luckily I've held my shit together today. I'm sure in the next couple of streams I might lose it a little bit, but thank you everyone for helping out so much. Thank you guys. But no, that is our Q&A. You guys, you're free to go. Thank you again. I will be, tagging you and everything and whatnot. And when we figure out how much we have raised, because I think we're at over $300, I think $350 right now. And I will be matching a certain amount. I'm trying to figure out how much. But that is our Q&A. I'm going to jump back over into Super Mario 64.
Nice.
I'm going to take a quick break, though, because I'm going to have to switch up stuff. But no, we will be back at 5 o'clock with a few people for 90s, and then 6 o'clock with Elliot and a few other people, and then the SoCo show at 7. But thank you guys so much, and have a great day, good day, all that stuff.
Bye.
Take care, everybody. Stay safe.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm gonna take a quick break, and I will be right back with the other stream. So there's gonna be a different link. You're gonna have to jump back over to that. I'm sorry, but it'll be super easy. I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Bye-bye.